afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Yard Prep, the Miami Dolphins pregame show here on Five Reasons Sports Network. I am Kai Chen Chisholm. Down below me, of course, is Mr. Royal A. Shepherd, a.k.a. me and him clashing over Donda, which released this morning. And then, of course, joining is Michael. You can find his Twitter there. Everyone obviously knows Royals. But if you don't know any of the Twitters, they are down below in the description. We were not late. It started at 2:30. Just want to be very, very clear about this. We were not late. Started at 2:30 p.m. I don't agree with Donda is trash, but this is the Yard Prep pregame show. Unfortunately, Juan cannot join us today, but he will be here for the further Yard Preps that we do down the line. This will go most likely until 3:30 unless we end up ending early. Guys, how's everyone's weekend been? I want to start with Royal.
I'm doing pretty good. Me and my wife went to go look at some houses today, inspired by my man Michael Christian. But yeah, me and my wife started doing some house shopping, so I'm feeling pretty good, man.
You find anything you like?
No.
All right, cool. Well, Michael, how about you, man?
Kai, hold on, just a bit of advice though before Michael goes. It's not about what I like.
Right.
Okay? Facts.
True.
Facts. This is how life goes. You can like it, but if you don't like it and the other person does, GG's, you got a house. How's my weekend been? It has been interesting. I'm just gonna say interesting. We won't get into why it's been interesting, as those are topics for another day. But what a weekend it's been on Twitter, huh?
Yes, just to quickly, and I want to make this very clear, solo myself here for this, for Yard Prep today and for the extra yard further until the future, we will not be discussing any of the rumors lately that you guys have seen on Twitter. Don't want to mention exactly what it was. Those will not be talked about until anything becomes official. So just so everyone knows, if you have any questions along those lines, they will not be answered during today's pregame show. But the Miami Dolphins will face the Bengals today. Of course, there is no Tua that will be playing, so we'll get to see a lot of Jacoby Brissett. We'll get to see a lot of Reed Sinnett. What are you guys expecting from today's game, Michael, in terms of just kind of the guys that we'll see? Of course, from the quarterback point of view, we obviously know it's going to be Tua and Jacoby as everything's currently constructed. After that, it's really kind of like looking at the wide receivers. Do you have anyone that you see that might have a huge game today, either offensively or defensively?
In terms of huge game, I think Kirk Merritt's really going to work hard today. I think he is fighting for his roster spot. I also think Jakeem Grant is going to have to put in work if he's out there playing, because if Jakeem Grant doesn't play, to me, that signals they know that he's made the roster. I don't think that's the case. So I think it is that last wide receiver position spot, right? You've got either Kirk Merritt, who might be there. Malcolm Perry's an option. Jakeem Grant is an option. They've got to figure out exactly what they want to do. And on the defensive side of the ball, the linebacker position is still kind of up in the air. I think Sam Eguavoen kind of cemented his position after last week's performance where he had all of those sacks. But I am looking to see what happens between Shaquem Griffin and Calvin Munson, kind of who takes that last spot. I'd prefer it to be Shaquem Griffin because he seems just like a much more uplifting guy. I like his story. I want him to succeed. I want him to do well. And he just seems like a really great guy from all the videos the Dolphins have put out. So I think linebacker position and wide receiver, those are going to be really interesting ones to see what those final roster spots end up shaking out today.
Royal?
I feel the same way about today's game as I felt about that 27 song blah. I feel nothing. Today means nothing. It's just some guys on the bubble trying to get their roster spots. I am interested. Is Liam playing today?
Lynn is IR.
Liam.
Oh, Liam. I think Liam got hurt too, didn't he?
Yes. I don't know if he's playing, but he did get hurt.
Well, if he's playing, he's the only person who I really care to see play. Like, I want to watch him maul somebody on the offensive line so that he can secure that starting right tackle spot. But that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I don't really care about this game. It's the last preseason game, which means nobody's playing, including Tua Tagovailoa. Thank you, JP. So I'm not really excited to see Jacoby Brissett play. I've seen him play several times with the Colts. Merritt, blah, like I just don't care, bro. Like I'm ready for the regular season to start.
Okay, so I guess one of the, and I don't want to get too much into the argument that we all had on Thursday night, but I guess it's one of the topics of conversation in the wide receiver position, like in the wide receiver room. Of course, we know the likes of Devontae Parker is going to make it. Will Fuller, Albert Wilson, now we know is most likely going to make the roster. Jim Waddle, obviously. Matt Collins is now someone that we've also said is probably going to be a shoe.
I don't know why it sounded like you said Jim Waddle.
Oh, no, Jalen Waddle. But like the guys that are kind of maybe not on the inside, like on the outside looking in, but kind of guys that we've all said are kind of ones that the Dolphins could live without. Preston Williams, Kirk Merritt, Malcolm Perry, obviously Jakeem Grant for a lot of them, and then Kyle Loxley and Khalil McLean are there as well. And then, like, how do you guys look at someone like, I guess, like a Malcolm Perry? This comment coming up here, noticing, you know, it's going to save us from another year of Jakeem Grant. I don't want to talk just solely on Jakeem, but Malcolm does bring something to the team with being able to do a lot. Of course, he did that in college and trying to do that now in the NFL. Do you think he has a fit on the team? Like, I know a lot of people have said this is kind of that dude that New England Patriots would snipe immediately if he was on the practice squad. Do you guys kind of see him as one of those players that maybe if he shows out today can make the team finally?
Yeah, if they want to use him kind of like they use Lynn Bowden. Like, if you want somebody to come in there who can run the ball, can catch the ball, can throw the ball a little bit, like, okay, sure, why not? That's a nice little gadget guy. But, I mean, I think he falls maybe third on the depth chart behind Jakeem and Merritt in terms of people who have a legitimate shot of making this roster. But if he does come out today, then there's a chance for him, because I believe there's a role if they want to do some tricky things that he can be used and can be pretty effective in that situation.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Malcolm Perry makes sense for the team. He's a versatile piece. We've seen him out there, and he's had a couple moments in the preseason where he's looked pretty good. I just, there's a couple things I worry about. I worry about his size. I understand that Jakeem Grant is also a small player, but Malcolm Perry looks smaller in terms of build, right? In terms of working out and muscle and everything. Like Malcolm Perry looks much smaller than him. Yeah. I also just don't know how much they're going to want to do that stuff. You've got such great wide receivers out there. I get gadget plays work, but why not just give it to Waddle? Right? Like, why am I going to give it to Malcolm Perry in the backfield when I can just do that with Jalen Waddle, who's going to be the best one at it anyways? For me, I think his value would come from the return game if he's able to do that and do it well. And I just think Jakeem Grant is so far ahead in that regard that I'm not seeing Malcolm Perry on the team other than the practice squad.
No, but for sure, if Malcolm Perry is making the team, it has to be at like wide receiver. It won't be as a returner, because if they're looking for a returner, like you said, they're keeping Jakeem. Yeah. Like,
you think they give him some snaps out of the backfield though? Like, potentially
as a running back?
Yeah, I guess maybe as a running back or as that receiving back to try to kind of have finding a way to keep him onto the roster.
I guess if you're not confident that Ahmed can kind of play that change of pace back role, then you would try and keep Perry. But I don't see a universe in which that happens.
Especially because you've got other running backs that you'd want to keep, right? I mean, they've got three that they're going to keep basically for sure, which are Malcolm Brown, Gaskin, and Ahmed. But then you've got Jared Dokes, who's looked pretty good in his limited time in the preseason. So why not just keep him over a guy like Malcolm Perry? And if the fear is, we don't want to lose Malcolm Perry to the Patriots, I mean, let's be honest. Are any of us?
I guess it's just a fan fear, right?
No, but are any of us going to be sitting there watching the game, and then the Patriots bring Malcolm Perry onto the field week 1, and we're like, oh my gosh, you have Malcolm Perry on the field, they're going to score. Oh, it's
over. If he turned into Wes Welker.
Yeah, but Wes did drop some key passes for them in key moments. So let's be real here. But I mean, yeah, if he turns into someone that can use properly, like kind of like that Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker type of role, then yeah, I think a lot of us would be pissed that we let a guy go. Especially he came from Navy, right? Like, you're gonna have a guy that comes from Navy, Belichick, Navy.
But even Wes Welker, would Wes Welker have become what he was if he was on the Dolphins? No. Like he definitely.
That's what I'm saying. I guess we're just kind of trying to say.
If Malcolm Perry goes to the Patriots and Bill Belichick unlocks him,
great. He figured him out. We didn't.
He's gonna be starting over Mac Jones at quarterback. Type of shit.
Good thing Juan's not here.
Right. Yeah, good thing that Juan's not here.
I was gonna say, not to totally tangent, but Greg, I don't know how to pronounce him. Greg Mance, the new offensive lineman that the Dolphins traded for from Baltimore.
Yes.
It's Mancz. I don't know how to pronounce that. I think it's Mance. Manx, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is.
With that new guy coming in, that kind of makes me worried about my guy Matt Skura. Because he didn't even get a chance. Look, I thought Matt Skura could do it. I did. I think he's a good blocker. He had a bit of the yips. I haven't even looked at him that closely. But with Greg coming in, either that's a guard position or Matt Skura is out the door. I don't know what you guys think.
Do we really think that? Do we think that's? I mean, he lost his job to Michael Dieter, right? Because we assumed that Matt Skura's center job was his to keep, like his.
Well, maybe, yeah.
But that's what we thought. But despite the word that you're not supposed to say, because it's a bad, looming over all these, teams. Like besides the Y word, right? We all thought that he was going to be that guy. He's a great blocker, except for
What's
that.
the Y word?
We're not supposed to say it. Don't say it. We're not supposed
to. Why not?
The Y word?
Because it's a curse over. It's a curse over clubs and teams in the world.
It's like, when you
Somebody
go to a
put
restaurant.
the Y word.
No, hold on. You know when you go to a restaurant, Royal, and then there's that portion of money that you give to the waiter or waitress on top of whatever you paid. It's that, but with a Y. You know the 20% that you give the waiter or waitress?
Nothingy?
I put it up there. I put it up there. It was
$0.
No, I got it. I know the word. I got it. I saw it.
My guy tips $0.
Yeah, I tipped nothing. That's add a Y to nothing.
We thought that was going to be like his job to lose. So, I mean, do they? Because cut day is coming here soon. It's next week. Do they cut Skura with a guy that they haven't even really seen yet too much? Like, I don't know if that's something that you're going to do.
You got Jesse Davis, the universal offensive lineman. So, I mean, you can do whatever.
Yeah, but you're not going to put Jesse Davis at center.
You're not going to put him. Yeah, nah.
You're not going to put Jesse Davis at center. What do you mean, why not?
They put him everywhere. They put him everywhere.
I just wonder if maybe the trade for Greg was, you know what, we probably don't need Matt Skura because we feel fine with Michael Dieter. We'll have Greg as the backup, and then we don't have to pay Skura.
He does play guard. That's the other thing.
Yeah, which is why if he's here to play guard, then that's fine. But if it's for center, then we've got to look at something different.
I like, but even there at guard, we're gonna go with obviously what's kind of being listed right now on the Dolphins roster. The first team that they still have offensive line is Austin Jackson, Liam, Dieter, Hunt, and Davis. It's just you have Liam, you have Solomon Kinley, you have Robert Hunt. Jesse Davis, I guess if you want to put him at guard, but obviously you prefer him to play tackle if he is playing. They've seen some good stuff out of Duval, the guy that they had a part of the international players program that's been around for a while, originally a defensive tackle that they made a guard. So, like, it's very iffy to me. It's a very interesting situation, even to get to that point, and even just to talk about the offensive line. But one thing we skipped over talking about Malcolm Perry that I do want to bring up, it is the running back room, kind of as we talked about him being a running back, because I think we all know that it's going to be Miles, Malcolm, and Savon. After that, you have Patrick Laird, Jordan Scarlett, Jared Dokes, and I guess if you want to consider Malcolm Perry in that role, kind of like a running back wide receiver, do you think that they're going to carry 4 running backs in? Like, do you think that Laird, Scarlett, or Dokes makes the team?
No, but I feel like out of those names, out of the list of names after Savon, Malcolm Perry sounds like the best option. It feels like he has a better chance of making the team as a running back than he does as a receiver.
He'd have to be, I guess, because I think we've seen what Patrick Laird is, right? I guess like we've seen him, and he's not the greatest running back in the world. He's not the greatest thing that we've ever seen. So obviously we understand what Patrick Laird is. Jordan Scarlett, we know kind of what he is a little bit. Jared Dokes, of course, being a rookie, he's probably getting put on the practice squad. Like, do they really bring in or keep a 4th running? Unless they get it after the initial first 53, then that would make sense. Maybe picking someone off of waivers, but what's going to be kind of that situation? Obviously, we haven't seen Malcolm play running back, and we're just kind of assuming here. But
because isn't that where he was listed last year?
He was listed technically as a running back last year.
Yeah, but he played wide receiver exclusively.
Well, I mean, he didn't really play much at all. I mean,
but it's just, do you bring in more than 3? Like, I don't think that you do, but
for me, I'm fine putting Malcolm Perry on the practice squad, and if a team like the Patriots wants to poach him, they poach him. I just don't see where having him on the active 53-man roster is so important that it's really going to give us that possibility of elevating us and putting us to the next level, right? I think you need other wide receivers that are much more ready to go out onto the field as a receiver and contribute right away. And I think Kirk Merritt is already better at doing that than Malcolm Perry, because you have to do that, especially considering how many injuries you have in that wide receiver room, right? 2 of those guys go down. I'd rather have Kirk Merritt out there than I would Malcolm Perry. And so that's why, for me, I'm fine stashing him. If somebody takes him, they take him.
Royal.
I'm blah, bro. Okay, like I don't care, bro. If he gets cut, if he stays, I don't care. He's not gonna play. It's like whatever, bro. Like I think Michael is much better at breaking down what he can and can't do, bro. Like I don't care about Malcolm Perry. I care about the people who are going to be on the field.
Now I want them to keep Malcolm Perry just so that when you and I play Madden Royal, I can score 1 touchdown a game with Malcolm Perry.
Just so that zero touchdowns a game with Malcolm Perry.
Oh, you can't change the playbooks, by the way. I'm just letting you know that now.
I heard you say that on the last stream, bro, and I'm kind of I'm a little upset about that, bro. Like, let's be honest.
Wait, why isn't? I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm not going to get into that right now, but I think that he should be able to change the playbook. I guess I want to bring back this question as well because this was asked earlier by JP. Do 8 receivers make the team? Again, when we were going through the receivers, we said that's going to be Devontae, Will Fuller, Albert Wilson, Jalen Waddle, Mac Hollins. That's already 5. You're assuming that you keep assuming where we are right now, it's Jakeem Grant. Then, of course, it's the surplus of Preston, Malcolm, Khalil, Kyle Loxley, and Kirk Merritt. I mean, and Jalen Waddle. Like it's Preston, like you're already at like 6 or 7 there.
Yeah, you're not gonna keep.
One has to get traded, right? I feel like we all agree that one of them has to get traded, whether it's Preston or Jakeem.
Yeah, I think it'd be the best thing. Yeah, rather than let them go for free, right? Because it's cut and somebody will pick them up off of waivers or at least get a 7th round pick out of it. It's just a matter of who you'd be willing to trade.
You think they would carry them into the season and then trade one of them mid-season?
Yeah. I mean, it just depends on I think because we all know that the initial 53 is not really the initial 53. Guys do get cut and moved within that like 2 or 3 day period because they pick someone else off of free agency or they pick someone else off of like kind of that waiver wire or maybe some guys that made a practice squad. But like between those two and Jakeem and Preston, one of them has to go. And it's going to be either a trade or a cut. And both of them have value. So if you guys had to pick between one of the two and taking away everything that we said on Thursday and just trying to have this be purely what you see on the football field, which one do you keep, either Jakeem or Preston? And I'll start with you, Royal, since you're already shaking your head.
Right. I'm keeping Preston Williams.
Okay.
That's an easy choice. I would love to hear Michael argue for the case of keeping a goddamn punt returner over an actual wide receiver. Please, Michael, go ahead. I'm not supposed to be saying this stuff right now. I don't know.
No, I mean,
yes, you're fine. Yes,
we can talk. Here's my thing. I agree that Preston Williams is a better wide receiver. I have no doubt in that.
The better football player.
Preston Williams is much less available than Jakeem Grant. Both have battled injuries. Preston Williams has gone down quickly in both seasons. I think he has great talent. If he can stay healthy, I am not at all on board with trading him. I'm just not confident he can do that. And I think if you traded Preston Williams, the return would be tangible, would be something good, right? Whereas I think right now, if they went and traded Jakeem Grant, you're looking at maybe a 7th round pick, which sure, I'd rather have a 7th round pick than losing him for nothing. But if I can trade Preston, who I think I have a better version of him in Devontae Parker, for something tangible, right? Maybe a 5th or a 4th round pick, then I'd much rather make that trade. But again, it's really complicated because it's the injuries that are playing a big part in this. Because talent alone, yeah, Preston Williams over Jakeem Grant every day. But the injuries, it's happened every season. It's happened really early. I don't think he's played past week 8 at all in his career.
Look, I think with Preston Williams, the depth that the Dolphins now possess at wide receiver can help him stay healthy. Like, that's what I'm banking on in terms of them having more bodies to throw out there on the field. Like, but Jakeem Grant, like, if you get rid of Preston Williams, then you have to play Jakeem Grant at wide receiver. And that's just an idea that I'm not comfortable with. Thank you, Cap for Life, for the $2 donation. Malcolm Perry.
Look at him go straight to host. He stole it right out from under you. Kyle was gonna read it.
I knew he got it.
I'm sorry.
I was letting it flow, Mike. Nah,
I can't help myself, bro. I can't help. I'm still working on it, bro. I'm not gonna do it.
Royal, I brought it up while you were on for a very specific reason. I'm letting it flow. Okay. Mike's trying to
cause anarchy,
drama.
Thank you, Cap.
But yeah, but no, I just think at some point, if you let one of them go, then the other one has to play wide receiver at some point. And I am much more comfortable.
And they both have drop issues. I want to put this just because this is Lewis. For anyone that doesn't know in the chat, this is Lewis. This is his thing. And I get it. We're not trying to say out a personal preference. Both of them have drops, and we're not going to get into a huge Jakeem Grant argument like we did on Thursday. If you want to hear that, you can go back to the extra yard. You can listen to that.
40 minutes of that garbage.
It was 40 minutes of Jakeem Grant. It literally was 40 minutes of Jakeem Grant. But they both drop passes. And I do agree with you, Michael. I think that Jakeem brings a lot on the special team side of things. It's just so like, it's just, I don't know. I feel like for both of them, if you could get rid of both of them, I honestly wouldn't be too disappointed with that. But I think for one of these things, and I saw it coming up earlier, for Kirk Merritt to make the team, one of them has to go, and then he just has to. You have to hope that he shined a lot in training camp or had a great preseason game today. Like that's really what it comes down to. For him to make the roster, both of those guys or one of them have to be gone.
And let's be honest, this third preseason game is big for a lot of these guys. I don't think, in my opinion, it's big for them with the Dolphins. However, like I think they can go out and they can ball out today. I don't think it's going to sway the Dolphins' opinion too much because they've seen them in practice for weeks now, right? They've seen them up close and personal for a long time. I think for a lot of these guys that are these fringe players, it's important for them to ball out today so that when other teams go looking for that position, they have the highlights of this guy that went nuts week 3, right? So Kirk Merritt, I don't know how much today's performance is going to weigh into him making the team or not. I think he's going to do his best out there, and I think he's going to have a big game. I just don't know if I'd be surprised if they didn't basically already have their mind set up on, okay, these are the ones we want to keep, barring some wild thing that happens, right? Like, I mean, he goes out there and gets 200 yards. I mean, that's a different story, but
if they traded Preston Williams and Jakeem Grant to keep Kirk Merritt, I'd seriously be questioning whether or not they wanted to win football game.
We're just saying,
okay,
I'm just speaking in general. Like, you have to feel for Kirk Merritt to make the team. One of them has to go. Like, in general, one of them has to go. Like,
if they let either of them go to keep Kirk Merritt, then I would not. I don't see it.
So if they trade Preston to keep Kirk on the roster, you would be upset with that situation, or you'd be chill with it?
Personally, I don't care. But I mean, let's like in terms of like the average football fan, it's like I don't see the logic in it. Kirk Merritt can't become Preston Williams in any life, so I don't trade Preston Williams to keep Kirk Merritt. It just don't make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And then this is the following question: Kirk Merritt or Trill Williams? Trill Williams, of course, has been playing out at corner. A lot of people really like him. And I know Juan is like one of his biggest fans. Dude looks like a linebacker on the field. Whereas 51, if you're going to pick between having him on the roster, the craziest thing, right? They're both in very congested position groups right now for the Dolphins, which I don't think anyone thought we would say. Like the wide receiver room is super congested. Obviously, we know Brian Flores loves defensive backs, but that defensive back room is very, very congested. In order for Trill to make the team, you have to have they have to really. It's Byron, X, Nick Needham, Noah. Those are already the 4 that you're keeping no matter what. Then it comes down to
Justin Coleman's most likely staying.
Justin Coleman, like Jamal Perry, they liked a lot. So it's like that's already that's already 6 with Justin, Jamal, Byron, Noah, X, and Nick. So you have to hope that they keep a 7th guy, and that has to be Trill over LeBlanc, Tino Ellis, and Javaris Davis. And we're probably thinking it's between Trill and LeBlanc. So do you keep Kirk Merritt or Trill Williams? You can only keep one. Which one are you picking?
I personally, from those 2 choices, I go Kirk Merritt just because I think in the cornerback room, the secondary room, like they're set, man. Like they're super set and ready to go. There's so many players there. I think Trill Williams is a good player. The wide receiver room, I'm a little bit more shaky on when it comes to injuries and losing players than I am in the secondary. And so that's why for me, I'd rather keep Kirk Merritt over Trill Williams. But I see the argument for both. I mean, Trill has a ton of talent. He looks like he's, ready to fit on this team in the lower cornerback position, obviously, but I just got to go with Kirk out of those 2.
I'm with Michael 100% for the exact reason that he just named. I trust that cornerback room a lot more than I trust that wide receiver room in terms of health. One of them might actually get a chance to play. The other one might just be holding a roster spot. So you take Kirk Merritt because, you have Will Fuller on your team, bro. Like, there's Will Fuller, Preston Williams, Devontae Parker. These guys,
Albert Wilson, like all of them.
These names, they don't sound like 17 games to me. They couldn't make it through 16.
The wide receiver room is so exciting just because the talent in that room to me is crazy. I think it's one of the most talented wide receiver rooms. Yeah, but exactly. Like we can say this. If that room stays healthy, you've got your top guys out there at least 80% of the season, right? Injuries usually happen, but you've got the top guys for at least 80% of the games this season. Oh, we're set at wide receiver, and fine, I'll go with Trill. But Yeah, I can't guarantee that at all. Drew can't play safety. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. JP Max asks, I keep saying I don't care when I'm talking about the Dolphins. Why do I say that a lot? Because I'm not a Dolphins fan. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan until Aaron Rodgers no longer plays for the Green Bay Packers. Once Aaron Rodgers gets traded, then I'm going to be a full-fledged Dolphins fan, and my emotions will be associated with that. So
Also
next season,
because it's preseason week 3.
right?
Yeah.
That's a very good reason too. Like I might be emotionally invested in the team after this season or during this season because I'm going to watch every game.
Mm-hmm.
But
breaking news, I know it has nothing to do with the Dolphins, but just confirmed J.K. Dobbins tore his ACL and is out for the season.
Damn it, bro. That sucks, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks because you hate to see people who going to play such a huge role on their teams like get hurt for the season in the preseason because god damn, bro.
Yeah, that sucks. Anyways, as we get through it, we talk about the offensive side. I don't know if there's really much left. I guess like you could kind of bring in the tackle side. Do you keep Larnell Coleman on the team? Greg Little you traded for. Like do you and I guess Adam Pankey, like which one of those, I guess 3 do you keep there at the tackle position between Coleman, Little, and Pankey?
Jeez, those are some rough names. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, look, Coleman, I understand it's a preseason. I know it's hard to kind of go through and talk about the 53, but that's kind of really what the conversation is today. Obviously, we'll talk about the Bengals, but like, let's be real. Most of it's really going to be about the kind of like the offense side or
and
53-man roster.
Burrow's playing today, right?
What'd you say?
Isn't Burrow getting a few snaps today? Didn't they announce that?
I think so. I can look that up right now, but I think so, yes.
Right. I don't know. Of those tackles, you're saying keep one in any capacity, right? You're not just, or you're talking about on the 53 specifically?
I guess in any capacity. I like, and I do agree like with Lewis. I like Larnell Coleman. I think that he's actually done a lot. I think Adam Pankey has not done well at all. And then Greg Little is the one that you traded. I mean, you swapped picks for Greg Little, but you did trade for him. What are you going to kind of do, like in regards to him? And then of course Kendall coming in and saying, "Yes, bro, is playing perfect."
I don't know. Larnell Coleman I think has the most upside, the most potential upside. He just got drafted. You haven't seen too much of him. It's been good what you've seen of him, right? You haven't seen the huge negatives like a lot of people have on Greg Little. I just think, again, practice squad is a very useful tool for these teams. I think Larnell Coleman can go onto the practice squad and likely won't get poached, and you can keep Greg Little on the 53. And if you do have to throw him out there at one point and it doesn't work, then you cut him, you elevate Larnell Coleman, you move on. I just, he just got drafted. Larnell Coleman wasn't he the last pick? Because he was after Jared Dokes. Was Jared Dokes the last pick?
Him and Jared Dokes were the last 2 picks, I believe.
Right. So I just think, look, Larnell Coleman looks good. If you can stash him on the practice squad, fine. But if you're confident he's going to get picked off, then yes, put him on the 53 instead of Greg Little.
Bro,
it was Coleman then
Liam Eichenberg, bro, and quit having this discussion about tackles. Like, start Liam, bro. Like, if you got to keep one of them.
The discussion on tackles is never going to go away. Every single time Tua gets sacked because of the tackle position, the conversation is going to come up again. That's just the way it goes.
I think, but it depends because let's be real, and want to thank Cap again with another $2 dono. You're asking questions. I mean, I appreciate the donor. You're asking questions for the doctor as well. Preston or Merritt. Listen, I'll take the one that is probably going to be on the field over the one that isn't going to be on the field. But that's just my personal opinion. But like, look, if Liam goes out there, and I understand he got hurt the other day, but if he goes out there and he plays the way that we saw him play in that second game at tackle, and he's out there for a long time, I feel like there's no other decision but to put him at tackle. Like, I just feel like there's no other decision. But we've seen him at guard, and you haven't liked it. If you can have a first-team offensive line, Austin Jackson, Sol McKinley, Michael Dieter, Robert Hunt, and Liam Eichenberg there at right tackle, I'm very happy with that. And let's be honest, the first game pass protection wasn't bad. The run game blocking was horrible. The second game passing protection I feel was better. The run game was a little bit better. Like, I would want to see that offensive line. And if someone gets hurt, then fine, put Jesse Davis in at whatever you want to do, whether that's left tackle or right tackle. I can't have another situation where we're going to be having to worry about the tackle position. If Liam is playing good, I would rather just stick Liam there.
I just know that Jesse Davis has faced NFL rushers more consistently, and I trust him
Yeah,
more
but that
right
we
now.
also put out Austin Jackson last year when he hadn't faced anyone yet and he was starting.
Sure, but
And he
over
hadn't had
who?
any preseason. I'm
Right,
just
but
saying
that's
you put him
right,
out
right.
there.
Well, Austin Jackson was drafted 18th overall, and I think the other option the guy that we traded for from the Texans, a really awful tackle. I don't remember his name. It was terrible.
Oh, like we had traded for him like a year before. No, I guess the other option was kind of Jesse Davis because you could have probably slotted him out there.
Right,
If
and
you
they,
Because he's
absolutely
always
wanted
the other option at tackle. He's
because
always
Jesse Davis is a
and they
swing
put
tackle.
Robert Hunt there a little bit at right, and then they moved him into guard, which we all think he's been playing much better at guard. But like,
Right.
Oh, Julian Davenport. That's what Julian Davenport
Yes.
was terrible. That guy sucked. I don't know. I just have a hard time taking Jesse Davis, the only veteran presence, off of that line because I think it is incredibly important when you're looking at offensive lines with such a young team. Right? This is a very young team. And there's Andres Tua's team. He's taking over, but you want some of that stability out there. And I think Jesse Davis can offer it more. So for me, I keep Jesse Davis starting unless, Liam's absolutely crushing it at practice and absolutely destroying everybody there. I just think if that was happening, they would have put him at right tackle already. If that's what was happening at practice, he would have been there.
I think they have three guards. I think they have three offensive linemen that played together last year in Kenley Hunt and Austin Jackson, and they've already grown together. So there isn't much that Jesse Davis is going to provide in terms of I don't know. I think they got all their growing up last year. They still got a bunch of veterans behind them to help them on the sidelines and stuff like that. I just think that if you're going to give yourself an actual chance, you have to put the best person at the position out there.
But that's the thing.
you play to win the game.
I am
not
sure. I am not sure that Liam Eichenberg is the best talent out there right now. Because what we saw Liam playing against was third and fourth stringers. Right? I don't think they gave him the chance to do it against first and second. If I see him doing that same thing against first and second, fine. But I'm pretty sure Jesse Davis could have done something similar out there against some of those guys. So I'm not 100% sure that he's better. That's where my kind of wobbling comes out.
Do you believe that he will be better?
No, I don't think he is better right now.
I'm saying
I think he has a higher ceiling for sure.
Yeah, I'm about to say, do you think he will be better by the end of this season?
But again, remember, that's his blind side.
Right, I get it. But do you think Eichenberg will be better by the end of this season? Do you think he'll be better than Jesse Davis?
Better than Jesse Davis?
Yes.
If he gets the playing time, yes.
Then I don't see what your argument is. You give him the playing time.
I don't want to risk the one or two plays that maybe Eichenberg makes a rookie mistake and then Tua gets hit from a blind side and we lose him for the year. That's where I'm at.
But that's perfectly possible with Jesse Davis over there too.
It is possible with Jesse Davis too. I'm just more confident something like that would happen with a rookie as opposed to a veteran.
Fair. That's a fair point, but I'm
don't like that I'm making fair points.
No, I don't. I hate it. But it's also that I believe that the more talented person gives you the better chance of preventing that from happening. And that's my whole thing.
We'll see. We'll see. If Liam plays today, I think we should all watch him closely. I think everybody should watch him closely because it is an option for this team at right tackle. I'm just not sure it's one they're going to take, considering how much they like Jesse Davis.
Kill this man, bro.
Welch is a hero, bro. Welch is a hero
that we didn't deserve to have right now, but he is here. So I guess moving from the offensive side of the ball to the defensive side of the ball to try to bring something, I guess. Look, we talked a little bit about the cornerback position. We talked about what they could probably bring. I mean, is there anyone on the defense that you guys maybe look at and you're very excited to see or think is going to be kind of that random one to make onto the roster?
Oh, I don't know about random, but somebody who I'm excited to see is the Jalen Phillips. Go out there and absolutely dominate this game. That's what I want to see. I want him to be the player whose name I hear the most from the defensive side of the ball tonight. Whether it's quarterback pressures, whether it's sacks, whether it's just containing. I just want him to go out there and cause a little hell. Simba, I stole this from you because when you said it, I was like, we should have been talking about this. But I want to see him go out there and I want to see him cause a little hell. So I'm very interested to see if Jalen Phillips gets to play and how much he plays and how well he plays if he does.
Do you think he's going to play well? That's the other question.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I hope he's lined up against Penei Sewell. Or not Penei Sewell, I'm sorry. That's for Detroit. I don't know. But I hope he's lined up against whoever they got That's who they should have drafted.
I want him lined up against Jamar Chase. I want Jamar Chase right inside trying to block Jacob Phillips. That's what I want.
No, look, but I was thinking because I was like in my head, it was like, damn, they should have drafted Penei Sewell. Like, and so that's what name came out of my mouth. Like, but either way,
I can't believe that we're still talking about Penei Sewell, dude.
Everybody's gonna be talking about him forever. Yeah, I mean, he's
sure.
It's
as long as Jamar Chase drops passes, then they're going to be talking about Penei Sewell.
Hey, but like, Penei's not playing too well either, so it is what it is.
He is in Detroit, bro. Like, I'm just saying. Like,
I do want to see what Jalen does. I want to see him have a couple plays where I really, really notice him. Right, I want to see him start making some of those impact plays if he's out there, especially against those kind of backups, right? Or a Cincinnati Bengals quality offensive line, which all of us can agree is not a good offensive line. No. So I want to see some of that from him.
That's why I'm so interested. Why are they putting in Joe Burrow? Even if it's for a couple snaps, why are you putting in Joe Burrow, dude? I don't think that means
on ending his career.
Because imagine I don't want to put this negative energy into the air. I don't want to be that person. But let's just say Jalen Phillips comes across the edge, hits Joe Burrow low because of a bad block, and that ACL is gone again. All for a couple snaps in the preseason. Like, why do any of us here maybe understand why you would make that? I get that maybe you want to get him some more reps as we get here into the regular season, but is it worth it, especially with what the scar that we saw on his knee? Like, is it worth it right now?
I would be surprised. I would be surprised if Joe Burrow wasn't the one wanting to get out there. Yeah, that's my thing. I think he wants to. No, but I think he wants to go out there, and I think as a coach as well, they want to see him get a couple of those speed plays in there because he's not getting touched at all in practice. You're going to throw him in week one when those teams are hungry to get after him, right? Like he's going to have that big target on his back. They want him to get a bit of that game speed going. Again, I'd just be surprised if Joe Burrow wasn't the one going up to the coach and saying, "Guys, I'm fine. I'm ready to go. I want to get some reps in." Right? And he needs to try to get some reps in. Especially because
you like it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same thing with Tua in that hip. Like he had to get hit in order to understand that he was capable of doing some of the things that he was accustomed to doing on the field. Joe Burrow has to trust that knee in order for them to reach the heights that they would hope to reach with him at quarterback. So he has to go out there. He has to get hit. He has to gain confidence.
This is directly to you. Thanks to Cap again. But this is directly to you, Royal.
Oh, thank you, Cap, for the $2 donut. I resisted the urge, but it's the best player available on this team, Royal. The best player available on the Dolphins. His name is Tua. Tagovailoa.
I wonder if the question is the best player on this team, Royal ? That's what Cap. If you could correct it, I'm not sure if that's what you're asking.
Best player on this team. No, I am practice squad. You hear me? I am the bubble player on extra yard. All right.
He's the Malcolm Perry that nobody wants to poach.
Yeah, so it's like I said this off the air, but I said on the air too. I know the least about football of everybody on this dais. Like I understand that full well.
No, you don't.
I do. Well, that's Michael, but nobody really counts him anyway. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. What?
Exactly. But no, I know the least about football on this panel, so I'm just a role player, bro. I'm here to be myself, and I love football. By the way, it's my favorite sport. Then why here?
That was great.
Because just because I know less than them doesn't mean I know less than you.
Royal knows a lot. Okay, let's Royal.
Can we
look? Get it twisted. The boys are
let's be honest. We can talk about the Bengals stuff. Can we just point out too that I think so? Tua's getting held out of today's game, right? Tua's getting held out of today's game. That was announced fairly early on. We've seen a lot of different starters go around the league in this last round of preseason. Tom Brady played. We saw Patrick Mahomes play. Basically, all the starters went. Tua didn't. I do wonder how much of it is Brian Flores doesn't like the Bengals and doesn't trust the Bengals too much, because if you remember, the Bengals are the team that Brian Flores went all the way across the field to try to fight, right? They're the ones that went after Jakeem Grant twice, started that whole kind of ruckus. I think it was Parker and Matt Collins ejected. I do wonder how much of it was him like, oh, it's against the Bengals? Nah, Tua's sitting. I'm not risking that.
The Bengals have a history, bro. Like,
yeah.
Like Vontaze Burfict lives in infamy because he played. Like that's kind of what sticks out. Yeah, like that's what sticks out in my mind when I think about the Bengals. Like they're a shit franchise that just like They try and do whatever they want to win, bro. Like, oh, y'all just gonna put me up here for? I'll take all this smoke. I don't care. The Bengals are a terrible franchise. They're horrifically run, and like it just seems like they put their players in positions not to succeed. So, like, if I was Brian Flores, I'd hate the Bengals too, bro. So, fuck them. Beat their ass today, Dolphins. I don't really care, bro. Like,
that's
exactly how
the
it should
royal
be.
mantra. I think that's the royal mantra right there. Is just
Yeah,
screw the
fuck 'em.
Bengals. Who cares about the Bengals? Really quick here before we get into anything else, we do want to give a quick shout out to Thrive Fantasy, as they are one of the sponsors for both Yard Prep, the Extra Yard, and I believe Final Yard as well. With Thrive Fantasy, you can be able to pick people. You pick if they're going to go over or under, and I'm going to show you. We have a contest that we are doing. Oh, wrong screen. Want to make sure I get this correct screen here. We have a contest that we are doing that will be on Thrive Fantasy. You can check it out. It'll be during week 1. You can come in and you can get into our contest. The contest that you guys can go with the password, if you don't use the link that's down below in the description, is Dolphins. And then you can also get a 100% match up to $100 for your first deposit using the code 5fins. You can see this is kind of what I picked for our week 1. I don't know, Michael, have you entered yet?
I haven't finished. I haven't finalized my stuff yet. I want to see exactly how last week of preseason plays out.
So I went into it. I'm kind of regretting my under 240 yards for Tua a little bit, but I went that maybe there's a chance that it's going to be under that 240.5. So I went under there, but it's pretty much you get the most points. It is a free contest, first to entry here. Price was $100. You can see how everything breaks down. Again, you can use the code 5fins for a 100% match up to your first deposit up to $100. And you can join our contest, which the link is down below in the description. But if you find it, the password for that contest is just simply Dolphins, and you can go ahead and get on that. So I guess right now we're missing our boy Royal. Is Royal MIA?
I'll just remove him until he comes back.
There you go. Royal is gone up.
He's back.
And he's back. Up. And there we go. And Royal's back. I guess we talked about the Jalen Phillips, and I want to kind of get into a little bit of some players that we've discussed a little bit as kind of guys that we look at, but are maybe not so much interested in. Vince Spiegel, we know, has been around. He hasn't been playing really, but he's been around. We know he was re-signed. Maybe he gets cut.
He got put on the IR.
Yeah. So, or maybe, who knows what's going to happen with Vince Spiegel in the future. Calvin Munson's been around. Shaquem Griffin is now here. I guess if you had to pick kind of in one of those guys in like a Duke Riley, Shaquem Griffin, or Calvin Munson, I mean, maybe Duke makes the roster and you also get Shaquem Griffin in there as well. But do you guys want to take a chance on Shaquem to make the roster?
Oh yeah, I mean, Roy, you're muted, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, bro. I think Michael's gonna make the point already, but I don't care. I want to beat him to it. Shaquem Griffin, good morale guy.
Yep,
going to be great on special teams. I believe if you put him there, like you keep him. The other guys, who cares? Like I don't
like. No, like honestly, Shaquem Griffin is the one linebacker of those names that you mentioned that I think people actually are invested in. And I think, I mean, he said it himself. I'm pretty sure the quote was out there where Shaquem said, this is the best training camp he believes he's ever had. Right? Like, this is the best that he thinks he's performed at any training camp since he entered the NFL.
Dude, and everyone loves him too. Like that, I know it has nothing to do with making the roster, but everyone loves him.
Like, I want to see Shaquem Griffin succeed. Like, he's got a fan in me for life, as long as like just in anything he does. I want to see him do well. I think he does have a place on this team. Duke Riley came in with some expectations, but hasn't been playing as well as you would have hoped. Calvin Munson's been here for a while, so they know what his impact is, which isn't that much. So Shaquem Griffin to me is an easy keep on this roster. Like, no questions about it.
Bro, do you have I saw something pop up. Do you have anything to say about this? I
think that Lewis.
Yes.
Lewis, I'm gonna jump on your show and say I don't care the whole goddamn time. And no matter what you say when you open your mouth, I'm just gonna say I don't care, Lewis. And then I'm gonna interrupt you and then continue with a thought that's on a complete tangent. Okay. I'm adding value to this place here.
You know, I will say, you know what's interesting about the defense though? We haven't talked much about the defense almost all preseason.
Because we haven't had the need to.
Well, like, exactly.
Like I'm the biggest things.
I'm so confident and just absolutely fine. Look, Howard came back. We're chilling. We're fine. The only questions I have are going to be some, formation questions, which aren't questions about like, oh, I'm not sure how they're going to do it. It's just more of like who they're going to throw out there. I don't know. But whoever they throw out there, I feel is going to be absolutely fine. And we haven't even seen them all healthy at the same time playing in this preseason, because even when X and Byron came back, I think Javon Holland and Brandon Jones were both out that game, right? The amount
Javon
of
was
packages,
tweeting on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Is Javon playing this game?
I don't think there's been any word if he will or not, but we should get kind of stuff soon here, as it is 3:15, so we should be getting to see soon.
I was just searching the
I
Twitter
want to
account
know.
to see if they had anything.
I haven't seen him all preseason, and I want to see him.
He played the first game, and he played well the first game.
Yeah, I wasn't really passionate.
He's a beast in practice, dude. That's the thing.
My eyes were glued to Tua for them first 2 games, bro. Like, this is my opportunity to watch other people. So, like,
this is going to be a really good game for people to focus on the offensive line, see how some of these backups do, because especially offensive linemen, like, you'd hope nothing happens, but one of them goes down, it can potentially ruin your entire season. So you want to make sure that some of these backup guys are good. And honestly, I'm pretty sure our first string guys are going to go, and they're going to go for a while because they're all young, right? The only one that may not go for a while is Jesse Davis. But other than that, I wouldn't be surprised if Austin Jackson, Hunt, Kinley, and Dieter all went for about 2 quarters. It just makes the most sense to me for them to keep building that chemistry, keep pushing around some people.
Good.
No, as they should.
Jesse Davis won't go that long.
I do want to see Liam Eichenberg play with them.
I feel like Royal is the official hate on Jesse Davis club. Like, that's him.
100%.
I keep freezing, bro.
It's okay. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
bro.
it's fine. That's fine.
Troy
Ortiz says Davis is not playing. So, hey, isn't that the cat from Captain Marvel?
I don't know.
I think that's the cat from the Captain Marvel poster.
Anyways, as we start to round out, I guess, like, talking about the defense here before we start to round out into just talking about a little bit of the game. Of course, we talked a lot about the 53-man roster and kind of how we want to see it shape out. Not giving official predictions, but going through kind of, I guess, the most congested groups, because we know more or less what most of the groups are going to end up being. Like, with the defense, and I feel another reason why we haven't had to talk to them a lot, I feel like on paper, you look at what the Dolphins have listed as their first team offense, or our first team defense, as we bring in a new Kanye is washed over the old Kanye is washed. As we talk about, I mean, you look at the first team, how they have it listed. You have Ogba, Raekwon, Christian, Jerome, McKinney, AVG, Justin Coleman, Byron Jones, X, Jason McCourty, and Eric Rowe. I mean, their backups are Brandon Jones, Javon Holland, Nick Needham, Jamal Perry. We've seen a lot of. Sam McGuavin had a very good last game. Duke Riley, Zach Sealer, John Jenkins, Adam Butler. Like, I feel like everyone on paper, you look at the defense and you're just like, all right, I'm really happy with what we have. Like, this is kind of like a championship tier defense, I would say, compared to what we've at least seen from the Dolphins in the past. Like, if there's anything that you could change on this defense, Royal, any certain player or someone that maybe if you didn't need them, you could trade them away, who would it be? And we said all that without even mentioning Jalen Phillips, of course, who is going to play a lot, we assume.
I would like to defer my answer to Michael because I don't know. Like, that group sounds good though, bro. Like,
on paper, it just sounds like it
sounds like a top 5 defense. Like, it sounds like a top 5 defense, and I don't know if I would necessarily want to improve or tinker with anything, because I believe in certain areas where they're weak, they have like other things that'll make up for that. And I don't believe that there's ever a situation where you can fix everything on either side of the ball. Right. Like, you can't have a perfect defense. And so, like, that sounds as good as it can get for now. Like, so, I mean, that's why I defer to Michael. Like, I don't really know what I would change.
So what are we talking about? If there's any changes I'd make on defense?
Yeah, if there's anyone on defense that maybe you change, or someone that you would trade away, cut, either like that's in a prominent role right now, who would that be?
I think the Dolphins are going to be in a really interesting spot with Ogba. I by no means want to get rid of Emmanuel Ogba, but if Ogba plays well, right? If he plays how he did last season, which was as our best defensive lineman, he's going to demand a lot more money. So they're going to need to figure out what they want to do with his whole situation sooner rather than later. So I'm going to be really interested to see how that shakes out. I was fine that Fuller didn't play most of camp. I know that's not really what we're talking about right now, but for me, the Fuller thing is just, we know how he is with injuries. We know he's not playing week 1. Just keep him healthy. Keep him healthy. Keep him safe.
Put that motherfucker in bubble wrap.
Yeah, please do. I will agree with Aaron a little bit. Talking about a pass rusher that could go after the quarterback and just get after the quarterback, right? That dominant pass rusher, because we haven't had that so far.
The guy that can get there on their own. Like that
Right.
was the talk going into the draft and free agency is get a guy, and we hope that Jalen Phillips is going to be that guy. But the talk was get a guy that can get there consistently on his own without having to scheme it, without having to, bring in extra guys. Just get someone that can get there on their own.
But that's something that I think we as fans value more than the Dolphins do. We know that a lot of fans
pass rushers.
No, maybe specifically like an individual dominant pass rusher.
Oh, okay.
The Dolphins would absolutely hold on. The Dolphins would absolutely take Aaron Donald or Myles Garrett. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but I'm saying the valuing, right? The fans need to be like, we need to go out there and get that dominant sack getter. Whereas the Dolphins would be like, I don't think we need to push for that too hard. We can scheme a lot of these. We can spread the wealth. We can make it happen, right? It's the whole thing that they say, the very Patriots, you'd rather have a guy in the face as opposed to like 10 yards behind the quarterback when it talks about outside rushing. Their scheme is very different from what we think. So I think Manuel Ogbah is the only one that I would really keep an eye on because of that contract situation. But other than that, no, I think they have, of the pieces they have, I think they have the best defense possible out there.
I understand the little scheme argument about pass rushing. I do not agree with it at all.
What do you mean? Hold on. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying I agree with it either.
I'm saying like I don't value being able to scheme someone into, or I don't value being able to scheme quarterback pressure more so than I do that individual thing that can't be schemed for. So Aaron Donald, I'd give up the farm because there's no scheme that you can fucking put together.
And I'm not saying that the Dolphins wouldn't, but when they go into situations and they're looking at players in free agency, they're thinking we probably don't need to overpay for a guy who gets a bunch of sacks a la Shaquille Barrett, because we can scheme a lot of those sacks for ourselves. That's what they
was overpaid. That's flawed.
I'd rather go get Shaquille Barrett.
You would. They obviously wouldn't.
Right. That's fair.
Just like I'd rather go get a dominant running back. I'd rather go get a dominant running back. They're like, we can do whatever.
Yeah, that I agree with. But just the philosophy. That's the philosophy. Is just it's weird to me. I don't get it.
I was a quick as we round out here with the last couple of minutes here of the pregame show. I feel like it's very interesting that we all have a very specific take that we're very hard on. Like mine and Lewis's are mine and Juan's is obviously the 19 thing, and then Michael's is the get me a running back like Najee Harris. Like that's Michael's one take. Like there's nothing else in this
world.
That's
my one take. I don't have another take. Dang, man. I wish I had more.
Let's be real. Like that's
the hill that you're dying.
The show is known for Michael. Like I need a running back. Like that's what Michael's thing is. Get me a running back. Get me a dominant running back. Leave me on Bell.
Listen, I'm like SpongeBob with the water, bro. Okay, I need it.
I mean, he goes first. He says, "I don't need it." You've just been straight up. I need it though.
100% from the beginning.
All right. So as we begin to come into the final minutes here,
we didn't talk about what my thing is or is going to be. But I think you guys have kind of started to see it.
Your thing. We know what your thing is. Your thing is don't care.
No.
You're just the guy from the meme, right? Don't care.
No, I'm just saying. I'm talking about as I transition into my Dolphin hood. I'm but a small fledgling of a Dolphin fan. But the thing that I'm going to bitch and moan about the most when I become a full-fledged Dolphin fan, until they fix it, is the offensive line. I am going.
Listen. Hold on a second. If you are going to complain about the offensive line, you are already a Dolphins fan, because that is what all of us have been doing for basically our entire lives. So
I'm a natural, bro.
You're chilling.
Yeah,
welcome.
Let's be real.
I'm pretty sure it's also just almost every NFL team complains about offensive line. The Cowboys don't. The Cowboys usually don't until now. But everybody else complains about offensive line. Nobody ever has it perfect. It's too hard to get. So
I don't. And the fact that Dallas has had it that way.
You can be solid though. The Dolphins have been bad. Like it ain't just haven't had it. They've been bad as a group.
There was a good look. There was like a year where it was really good.
No, and
Brandon Albert, Tunsil, Mike Pouncey, like that.
When they had what Omar Kelly called the unicorns,
I'm not talking about like the once in a while good offensive line. I'm talking about like where you can count on the organization to bring in solid players, even if they're not the best. They're solid and they're serviceable. as opposed to bringing in.
Yo, they
You
had
gotta
a
give this
look.
team-
That offensive
no,
line was Brandon Auer, Laramie Tunsil, and then you had Anthony
Mike
Steen and
Pouncey.
Javon Bushrod, which was interesting, and then Jawan Davis. Like that that's not horrible.
That line's fine with me. I'm fine with that line.
You got
But
like
that
two
line
bad pieces in that line.
But that line was what, 1 year?
Yeah, they couldn't stay healthy
Yeah.
even the years that they were together. It was I think it was
You
like
know what
2,
I'm
but they
saying?
couldn't
Like-
stay healthy. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm gonna be bitching and
Look,
moaning about it, like, for various reasons.
With offensive line, you have to give the Dolphins this. They're trying, right? And it's not like they're trying
Playoffs
cheaply. They are trying with expensive draft capital. I
With
mean,
first-round
Austin Jackson
picks,
was
yeah.
a first-round draft pick. Robert Hunt was a second-round draft pick. I think Solomon Kinley was a fourth. There's a lot of things
That's
that
5
they've
years
been
ago,
working
Aaron.
on.
Yeah, but I mean, look, I'm coming in at a great time because when I first heard about having to become a Dolphins fan, there was no quarterback in the fucking future. Like this was
No, not a shot.
I've been with my wife for 8 years, bro. We were talking Tannehill, and I was like, that's not going
Hey, we were all excited. I was excited about Tannehill. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was.
He
a guy.
played wide receiver, Michael.
Listen, no.
He was a quarterback
Time out.
first. He was a quarterback first. When he
Then
went to
he switched
A&M,
to wide
they
receiver
made him a
for
wide
playing
receiver.
time.
Then they made him a quarterback.
Listen, when you watch Tannehill
Wide
as a
receiver.
rookie play against the Arizona Cardinals, and he went and broke Dan Marino's record for
You
passing
understand that
yards in a game.
We're saying the same thing about Tua now. Think about what you just
Right.
said. Tannehill against the Cardinals, and now we're saying Tua last year against the Cardinals.
Oh no!
Hey, bro,
All right, so
don't
let's
bring
not
up
do this.
those parallels, bro.
Yeah. Game predictions for today. I know it's preseason. Last game of preseason doesn't really matter too much, but let's just go out there and give a game prediction. Royal, I'll start with you.
The Dolphins about to blow that shit out.
I was waiting for it.
Any yeah, I got, they're gonna win by this much, or no,
No,
anything?
Kachi and Chisholm, I do not care. Like, I just think they're gonna go out there and blow their ass out.
I
Okay.
I love the Dolphins. I'm actually going to say that the Dolphins are going to lose this game only because Joe Burrow is going out there, and I think Joe Burrow will have a decent enough time unless they have the first team secondary out there, right? You put Byron Jones, you put Howard, you put them out there. Okay, fine. That's a different story. I'm just not sure they'll be out there. I don't really think they need the playing time. So for me, I'm going to say that the Bengals actually win this one, but I'm going to make it kind of close because I think, second and third team defense after Burrow comes out will step up and make a few plays. So I'm going to say that the Bengals win, let's say 24-20. That's what I'm going to say.
24-20. Okay. I'm going to go with 27-17 Bengals. I think it's going to end up being
because of Burrow.
No, I just think it's going to end up being the Reed Sinet. I think it's going to end up being the Reed Sinet show. I don't think the Reed Sinet's going to show a lot. I would love for the offense to ball out, though, because I would love to be sitting here when we have our show next week talking about the cut day show and talking about the cuts and reacting to them. I would love to be able to yell about the receiver room and the running backs. Like, I would love to be able to do that just because it's fun. And look, none of us care. Let's be real. None of us care.
No,
but
we're
just trying to see some good stuff, make sure no one gets hurt.
Yeah.
And as regards to this, like, the only thing I have to say
Where
is
Colin was wrong.
that's all I got to say. All right.
Jacoby about to throw for 225, boy.
in the first quarter.
In the first
What
quarter.
hell?
And you know who's getting all those
Two
yards? You know who's getting all those yards? Jakeem Grant.
Jakeem Grant replacement.
You know what's interesting is there's still nothing on the Dolphins inactives today.
Yeah, I keep loading that too.
I was trying to stall a little bit for that. Like, I want to know who's not playing.
We'll figure it out. I think it'll be a fun game to watch. And hey, there's a post-game show after, right? People have something to watch then too.
Yes, there is final yard will be live with Lewis Sung, and I believe Hassam's going to be in there. Hassam's newest here to 5 Reasons Sports, and then we'll see who else jumps in there with him. And we want to thank you guys for tuning into Yard Prep and tuning in. Of course, during the season, we will have do that again. Oh, come on, Michael, you smile for the camera. During the season, we'll have the full cast of myself, Royal, Michael, and Juan.
Alfredo will jump on.
Alfredo will jump on occasionally. We'll have other people on occasionally. Maybe us, Hassam. Maybe we bring in Lewis, stuff like that. But we will have other people on for Yard Prep throughout the season. But of course, the mainstay of hosts will be myself, Michael, Royal, and Juan, the Extra Yard crew. A reminder that you can see the Extra Yard every single Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. That'll go live on Eastern time. That'll go from 9 to 10. usually, unless there's anything that, if there's no news, then it will be a shorter show, but usually we'll have that from 9 to 10. It will be an hour show every Tuesday and Thursday. And of course, our show, as well as Yard Prep, as well as Final Yard, is sponsored by Thrive Fantasy. You can check out the links for Thrive down below in the description.
Tell them what to smash.
And get that $100 match on your first deposit. And of course, make sure to smash the like button, turn on post notifications, and subscribe to the channel, as well as subscribe to the Extra Yard channel, which also should be linked down below in the description. Hopefully no one gets hurt. Hopefully we see some great things out of the offensive line. We will make sure to see you guys in for the next Yard Prep show. And again, make sure to tune into Final Yard once the show is done.